The very first foundational principle of 80/20 marketing and selling is seek first to understand. And I'll add with a servitude heart. Until you completely understand what your market as a whole or individual customer wants, you really can't help them. Almost 100 years ago, Dale Carnegie taught us that selling and persuasion was as simple as finding out what people want and then give it to them. Simple back then, but not so much today. Why? Because it is extremely difficult for most people to articulate what they want. So today, you have to become a little bit counterintuitive in your methods, an expert at asking the right questions of the right people at the right time. There are two questions everyone can answer accurately: what they don't want and questions about their past behavior. When it comes to figuring out what their market wants, most business owners and salespeople make the same costly mistake. They either assume they know or they simply ask people what they want and then sit back and think they'll tell them and then wait for the money to roll in. Henry Ford once said, if I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And Steve Jobs said something similar. He said, a lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. So if you want to know what your market wants, stop asking them, or at least you have to stop asking them directly. Being an 80/20 marketer and seller is a lot like being a doctor. There are 5 stages: discovery, diagnose, prescribe, create, and implement. The first stage is the discovery stage. Think about the last time you visited your doctor's office. When I check in, the first question they ask me is, have you traveled outside of the country in the last 6 months? That's the beginning of getting to know me. Once I sit down with my doctor, he'll start asking me questions about what are the symptoms that motivated me to come to him. When did they start? Under what circumstances do they occur? How often? Etc., etc. As an 80/20 marketer or salesperson, the better I know my market, their pain points, their motivation, what language do they speak. And I'm not talking about whether they speak English or Spanish or Croatian. I'm talking about how to speak to them so that they understand and can wrap their head around what I'm trying to say. When I truly know them like a friend, the better I'm going to be able to help get them what they want. I first learned this truth about 30 years ago when I was selling cars. It helped take me from a 10 car month salesman to 25 to 30 car month salesman. The most effective questions are the ones I asked about what they didn't like about their current vehicle and how the way they used their vehicle in the past no longer was suitable today. The salespeople I trained in this method and implemented it also dramatically improved their sales. So if you want to know what your market wants, you have to become counterintuitive and find out what they don't like and then extrapolate from there.